Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Food for Thought. I'm your host, Morgan Storm, and with me today is the exceptional Firas Duval. Now, Firas, could you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so you know my name. Uh, I'm like a kid who's kind of been around the world a bit with my dad, because of his job. And I've been to like many schools. And yeah, I make new friends at every place I go. And I made pretty good friends with Morgan here. So,
All right.
we're
All right.
gonna have
Thank
a
you.
nice little convo.
All right, thank you. Now, before we proceed, since this is the very first episode, it's probably best that we explain the premise a little. So, this is a podcast. And a big thing about this podcast that I want to be deeply ingrained in every episode is that the guests will bring one topic that they wish to discuss, and that the topic they bring is very much relevant to them specifically. I really want them to bring a perspective or a viewpoint um, uh, on something that is an aspect of their character. If you want, you can think of this podcast as almost a character study of the people I have on. Um, I do this because I want to avoid asking about or talking about the same few topics just with like different people, but instead make every discussion and even every topic very unique to the guests. Now, the podcast is called Food for Thought because we wanted to leave the audience with something to chew on, but also because during the episode, we will briefly review snacks we are eating. So, with that out of the way, Firas, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm a guy who's pretty simple, I'd like to think. Um, I like, to take my life as it goes, and I have a few interests. I like music, I like sports, I like fitness, and I like riding my motorcycle with my dad.
That's really sweet. Now, Firas, you're not just any guest. You're actually a co-host.
Yes, sir.
So this being the first episode, what are your sort of expectations on what's gonna happen?
I think we're gonna talk to lots of different people and learn about them more. I mean, most of these people are people we know, but it's gonna be interesting to maybe get to know them a little deeper.
Mm,
A little bit less surface level knowledge
mm,
about their character, and yeah, I'm expecting to have like a decent amount of fun.
okay. You mentioned that you moved country a lot. Could you talk a little bit like what is that like? And like maybe some different
Oh
experiences you've
man,
had with the country.
yeah. So I've been to a lot of countries. Um, I'm Canadian, but I've only lived in Canada for well, actually now it's 7 years of my life. But most of the rest of my life has been spent in the Middle East because my dad has been working there as a government worker, kind of.
Mm,
And yeah, it's, I mean, and now I'm in Sweden, of course. And one of the big things that I've noticed is how different, like, the Middle East is from other, maybe more first world countries.
okay.
Um, and yeah,
In
of
what
course.
ways?
Well, at schools, there's like a lot of, the people are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the kids there, I mean, I went to like some pretty privileged schools there in the
Mm,
Middle East because public schooling there was not to the standard that my dad wanted for me. And my dad being a government worker, I got, you know, we got paid, or my dad could enroll me basically at any school in the country for free.
mm,
And so I went to some pretty privileged schools and I met a lot of very privileged people. And some of them are nice, but a lot of them are very pretentious.
stuck up maybe.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I've lived in the Middle East a lot,
Mm,
but I don't think I'd feel like returning.
okay. Now we do have to apologize for the windiness of the audio quality. It is due to our very authentic ways of capturing and interviewing our guests, and it will compromise the audio a little bit, and we apologize in advance for that in the future if that happens as well. So you want to tell us a little about the snack you chose?
Oh, well, we got a couple muffins. I'm sorry if the bag is very loud. We got two muffins here. We got a blueberry muffin and a chocolate muffin.
Now, which one did you pick?
I got the chocolate muffin, as I usually do, because we've got these from a store that me and Morgan like to frequent quite often. And we get muffins pretty often.
Yeah, we do.
So I think it's a bit of, it's a good way to start it off.
Yeah, okay.
Some classics.
Now, you brought a chocolate muffin. Tell me a little bit. How do you pick your chocolate muffins?
I kind of look at the selection of chocolate muffins they have, and I pick the fattest, juiciest one I could find.
It's interesting.
It looks like the chocolate melted a bit. Ooh. It's okay.
Which is interesting because if I picked a chocolate muffin, I usually go for the amount of chocolate chunks within the muffin.
Yeah, I prefer the muffin over the chocolate chunks themselves. Like, I don't really care too much for the chocolate chunks.
Funny how that's different for us, and I wonder why. Why did you decide that the muffin was better than the chocolate chunks, and why did I think the chocolate chunks are the best part? That's an interesting way of thinking about it. Yeah, I picked the blueberry muffin. I'm not sure if these were always blueberry, but they're blueberry now. So here goes a fat bite. Now, what I noticed first time was that it's quite dry. It's a quite dry muffin, despite the blueberries. But the flavor is immaculate, and I'm enjoying it. It's not terrible, but I do wish it was a bit more moisture. How about you guys?
Mine is very doughy.
Doughy?
Yeah.
For chocolate.
Like, it feels like eating Play-Doh.
You eat a lot of Play-Doh then, huh?
But it's pretty good.
Yeah.
The flavor is pretty chocolatey,
That's good.
But yeah, it doesn't crumble or anything. It kind of like feels like a wave in my mouth, like a big thick wave in my mouth.
Yeah, mine's a bit. I'd say almost a bit greasy, and kind of like a little greasy-ish. That's okay. I also have a drink with me, one that I really like. It's called Halmstad Crush, with a strawberry flavor. Now, you can get these at like most Coops. This Halmstad Crush comes in 3 flavors. They have the strawberry one, which is, in my opinion, the best one. Then they have, I think, a lime or something, which is also pretty good. And then they have the really terrible one, which is like mango. It's like a cloudy, sort of orange-yellow color, and it's not that good.
Okay.
And I know that everyone else thinks the strawberry one's best because they're always sold out. I quite like it. It is a carbonated beverage, which Firas doesn't like that much in general. No. But Firas, would you care for a sip?
I'll have it.
Tell us what you think.
Dude, it says alcohol free on it.
Yeah, because it does kind of look like a cider, I guess.
Oh, with the wind, it kind of makes a little sound. That's actually very refreshing after the muffin.
That's good to hear. Now, Firas, you mentioned you loved a bit of music. Tell us about you and music.
So,
when did that relationship form?
Actually, there's kind of 2 starts. My first start with music was when I was in Egypt, and I had to choose my classes. And me and my dad were choosing my classes, and we just saw a class that said band, and we thought that was cool. So I kind of just picked band, and I ended up in band. And I didn't know what band was at the time. I thought it was like guitars and stuff. But no, it's like trumpets and saxophones and flutes and stuff.
You were a band kid.
Yeah, I was a band kid for 2 years.
This is the first I've heard of it, and I think that's really funny. Can't believe you were a band kid.
Yeah, I used to play the alto saxophone.
You played saxophone?
Mm-hmm. For 2 years.
Why have you
Um,
hidden this?
I mean, I don't know. I play guitar now, and I'm a bit more proud of my guitar than
Yeah,
my
this is
saxophone.
literally the first time I ever heard him talking about you playing saxophone. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So basically, for 2 years,
Mhm.
I played saxophone, and it was a lot of music theory
Mhm.
and a lot of reading notes and stuff.
Mhm.
And it was fun. But then I moved, and saxophones are expensive, so I didn't buy another one
Mm.
because the one I had was rented from the school.
Yeah.
And then in Canada, I switched school programs in the middle of the year to an IB program, which required music in the first 2 years of its programming, kind of like in the curriculum. And everyone played guitar. It was a huge guitar room, and there was like 30 guitars on the wall, and they were all like really cheap, bad classical guitars.
Yeah.
And everyone there had already been playing for a year and a half, and we only had 6 months left of guitar.
Oof.
And this was my first time ever actually playing guitar.
Mm.
And by the end of it, I was better than everyone in the class.
Damn, you caught up quick, huh?
Yeah, I did. So ever since, kind of, I've been playing a lot of guitar, and I got interested in the electric guitar, and that molded my music taste a lot. So now I listen to a lot of electric guitar based music. But I don't know. I've been evolving a bit, and I like to venture out into different things now.
Mm.
But I'd like to say I listen to a lot of music, and I enjoy a lot of music.
Okay. Do you have any opinions on like the music industry as a whole?
Ugh. I mean, there's different ways to see it.
Mm.
You can look at the big dogs in it, which I'm not very fond of. I think because mainly the way it works now is big artists buy big artists buy songs from music songmakers, right? Songwriters. So all of the songs by the big artists that you've heard, most of the time they're not written by the big artists. The big artists to me are just like a puppet or an image, like a pretty face to put on this music and just to sell it. And I find that pretty infuriating. However, modern age and technology has given accessibility to music production to a lot of people.
That's very true.
And I think there's a lot of good things that have come with that.
Yeah. Me and you, we've both made some music.
Mm-hmm.
Some that we're proud of, and some that we're not so proud of, maybe. But yeah, it's great that we have that availability of things now, and not just with music, but with almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, film. I'm a big film guy.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic how there's just like cameras. Everyone's got a camera now on them, and anyone can make a short film or do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Something that wouldn't be nearly as achievable even 20, 30 years ago. You'd have to actually buy a real camera, and it's nice to try out a thing before you go full in.
Yeah.
And now we can do that. Before you kind of had to take a bit of a leap, I'd say, unless you had maybe a friend like borrow you some equipment.
Yeah. No, the creative industry I think has become much more accessible to a lot of people.
Mm. So, could you tell me a little about, like, I don't know, do you have any future plans in general?
It's something I actually thought a lot about, and it's difficult for me because I feel I like to live in the moment a lot, and looking into the future is pretty scary for me. Especially now, because I'm not sure where I'm going.
Yeah.
And it's pretty frightening. I mean, I'm like at the mercy of the world.
That is true. There's a bit of trust you to kind of have that other people are going to be there for you and they're going to help you, move on and get to your future. Because it'd be difficult to do it all by yourself,
Yeah.
To reach that all the way by yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I can see that being a bit like you'd have to rely a bit on others to be better, I guess.
Yeah, no, and it's I mean, I have a general idea of what I'd like to do. I'd like to go to university, as IB students usually do. Um, also because an IB degree is not really good for anything except universities. Going to university.
Hmm.
It's not great for getting, like, just jobs without a university degree.
Hmm.
And, the thing is, I have to wait before I can go to university.
Yeah.
So I have, like, a year in between where I have to just find something to do. I think get a job and, like, work on some music or something.
So you have to wait a bit, right?
Yeah,
And that's
I
due
do have a
to
year.
a sort of I guess you could say
Immigration
a
problem.
bureaucratic process.
Yeah.
I imagine dealing with certain things gives you opinions on certain things. So do you have any like opinions maybe on I don't know what governments should not do?
What governments should not do? That's a big question. What governments should not do? I mean, I understand the bureaucratic process. There's a lot of people that are trying to become citizens every day in Sweden, and I understand that it takes a long time. And I understand that there's a lot of stress on governing bodies to be good for their people, and it's very difficult for them to be good to their people. But something they should not do, I think, is to try and control the population. I think that's a problem in a lot of different countries, like dictatorships and stuff, right? And there's a lot of dictatorships in the world.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
You know, we don't realize it because we're all living in first world countries, all lucky and free. But there's a lot of dictatorship. Like I was reading the other day about Hong Kong's news, like the Daily Apple or something.
Oh yeah,
one of the news
got raided.
outlets. Yeah, they got raided by the police just because they're pro-democracy and anti-Chinese government. They just got like clapped by the police.
Well, I heard that they knew kind of that was coming, but
Yeah,
it still shouldn't.
but that's like, to me, that's like trying to control the population and taking their freedom away.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you should be free to release whatever news you want, even if it's complete bogus. I mean,
Okay.
maybe if it's complete bogus, I don't know, you should be criticized, but I don't think you should be raided by the government for promoting democracy in your country.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that's ridiculous.
But that, that for China that was a case of democracy, but similar things have happened even in, as you say, first world countries.
Mm-hmm.
For example, United States during the Cold War absolutely busting down any communist socialist movements.
Yeah.
Even if it was just criticism of the governments, they would do very similar things.
Mm-hmm.
And we look at that and we say that wasn't too bad because it was communism, which is wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's still the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
And still the same principle, I'd say.
Definitely. I mean,
and
people should be free to think what they want and express what they want.
Yeah, and it was because they expressed only a certain thing that the larger government was against that they don't.
Yeah.
So that happens kind of everywhere, not just in
definitely
places that we think it would happen. It can happen. It's probably happening right now somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think it's kind of gross. I don't know. I don't want to be controlled by someone. I want to do what I want. I mean, obviously, that brings into the, like, laws and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there should be ground laws for people to follow, but I should be able to live my life how I want and not, like, in constant fear of being, I don't know, busted. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. That was a bit of, I guess, heavier topic, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe let's light it up a bit. You like racing, don't you?
Oh, dude, I love racing.
Tell me about the ethics and dangers of racing as a sport.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's
a topic that I've found comes up quite a lot in racing discussions.
Definitely. I mean, I like to watch Formula 1 a lot. And recently there was in 2017 or 2018, there was a new safety regulation kind of. Because they race open race cars, right? So their head is just out in the open.
Yeah.
So basically what they introduced is called the halo. And it's like, kind of like a bar that goes above the driver's head and
Yeah.
puts a line in the middle. So there's a line where they can't see in the middle, but they can see around it.
Yeah.
And it's like a safety device, right?
Yeah.
And just last year, there was a driver who crashed into a wall. And actually, that Halo device thing was very controversial. A lot of people were against it. I'm not sure why. They thought it like it impaired the driver's vision, and
Okay.
yeah, that it was like extra weight on the car or something, or it was unnecessary or whatever. But that thing saved the driver's life last year. He crashed into a wall, and his head would have been ripped off if he did not have that. And that was a pretty horrific crash, actually. Um, he like drifted off into a wall, and his car like exploded into a giant ball of fire.
Shredded.
Yeah, and he was gotten out of there in 15 seconds. Like,
That's pretty good.
yeah. I mean, racing is dangerous, especially at high speed. It's very dangerous. But if you look at it, I mean, back in the 1980s in Formula One, there was deaths almost every year. Now the last death goes back to 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, safety has gotten a lot better. And they have precautions. I mean, they have safety cars, and they have medic cars on the track.
Yeah.
And they have outposts everywhere. You know, where if something happens, there's stewards that can go and help the driver or whatever. I mean, it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think it's something that if you're a racing driver, you're willing to take the risk. You don't know, or you know that there is a risk.
Yeah.
And if you're a racing driver, then you're taking that risk.
Okay. So you think it's okay because you walk in kind of knowing the deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you decided to do this.
All right. I've heard another perspective, which is more like if we need all these measures to make it safe, to make sure that we don't have driver deaths each year, is it really worth it going through all that? And then for what? For entertainment, basically, because that's what they do it for, right? We watch racing for entertainment.
We watch racing for entertainment.
But they do racing for obviously money and stuff like that.
Yeah, but for them also racing is their passion. I mean, it might be difficult for some people to understand, but people are passionate about tons of things. Like,
that's true.
And racing just happens to be a passion for those people. And I mean, they've been racing since they were like 4 years old in go-karts, so they know nothing else. And to them, that's their entire life, right? So you can't just like say, "Yeah, it's not worth it."
Yeah, I had a chat with a good friend of mine, Hugo, a few days ago, and I brought up that he mentioned something with them go karting since they were like 4, and it's almost like they were bred for it.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, a lot of drivers now are children of former drivers. Because nowadays, I mean, it's in almost all sports.
Yeah.
Because nowadays the level has gotten so competitive that you need to. There's no way you can get into the sport if you have never done it before, like the age of 9.
Yeah.
You know, like even if you look at hockey, all of those hockey players in the NHL or in world leagues or anything, they've all been playing since they were children. If you look at tennis, everyone's been playing since they were children. If you look at badminton, they were playing since they were children. I mean, sport nowadays has reached such an intense level that unless you're like miraculously amazing at the sport, you need to be almost bred into it.
Yeah.
Which makes the sport inaccessible for a lot of people, which is a bit unfortunate.
But like, is that okay? Do you think maybe the pressures of like parents to bring their kids?
Yeah,
that might be, because like you're teaching them that this is from such an early age, and sure they get to love it, but that's only because they do it constantly and they don't have much else. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just wondering. I don't know. It could be a little ethical.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, kids. This happens a lot. I mean, I remember in my school in Canada, we were watching videos about it, and there was a kid who was playing hockey, and he was like 6 or 7, and his dad was super pressuring him into it and pressuring him to perform, right?
Mm.
And so they did an experiment where they put a mic in the kid's helmet,
Mm.
and then he was playing a game. I think he was a goalkeeper or something.
Yeah.
And his dad was on the sidelines, and they would tell his dad to like stand up and clap or just sit down and do nothing, and the kid would freak out because he was so reliant on making his dad proud.
I like support, I guess.
Yeah, but also because he just wanted to make his dad proud. He was
So like a
he wasn't playing for the fun of it,
okay.
He was playing
For
because
the expectation.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's toxic to a certain level. Like it's
Especially to a young child.
Yeah, like poor kid doesn't deserve that.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
That was a good take on that, I'd say.
Yeah.
So sports and racing, that was a bit of I guess, a hobby for you. Do you have Are you good at, say, like finding new hobbies and passions, and like how do you go about that?
Ooh. I mean, most of my hobbies, well, I guess they come up from interests, right? I mean, I've always kind of, like, for example, racing for me, it started out as I once went to a car show with my dad, and I saw a bunch of cool cars, and I got really interested in cars.
Yeah.
So then, eventually, when I got Instagram, I started liking a bunch of car stuff, and then Formula One stuff just came. And then from that, I eventually became a huge Formula One fan.
So it came a bit more natural.
Yeah, like a lot of my hobbies come up pretty naturally. I mean, then again, badminton is a sport that I like a lot, and it's a sport that my dad did when he was a kid. So I guess a lot of what I like comes from influence from my dad. Like I said, getting into band as a kid, like I was choosing my classes with my dad. Maybe it's like pretty hereditary, but my dad has never played music. I don't know. It's but I think a lot of influence actually comes from my dad. That's something I'm realizing just now.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot for almost all young people. They at that young age, a lot of influence does come from your parents because they're the ones who are with you for such a large chunk of time. That's fine. That's okay, because like if your influence didn't come from your dad, who else would it really come from?
Yeah.
Or not. I mean, not just your dad, but like the people around you. It'd be weird.
To just like come up with something on my own out of nowhere.
Yeah, or if you were a kid and you like were very heavily influenced by something that someone you like never met.
Yeah.
YouTubers, kids, and like YouTubers, man, and like how they're like obsessed with that stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, I remember in my little brother's class, a lot of his peers wanted to become YouTubers.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. They have so much influence and so much power over the minds of these young children. And I don't think it's healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the generation that's like a little bit before that, right?
Yeah, we passed that pretty narrowly.
Yeah, because like even some people in our generation, like I'm just thinking of the Paul brothers.
Yeah,
like they influenced so many kids.
True,
it's ridiculous.
We weren't quite that age range.
No, that was like a couple years below us.
We kind of dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, dude.
Man. Yeah, I mean, it's not like that, like, popular people or, like, people who are, like, famous people or whatever haven't influenced, young kids. I mean, kids have been watching TV since, the 50s.
Yeah, and, like, watching hockey players or something.
Yeah, and back then, even then, people influence you. But it's, like, up to a level where it's, like, daily.
Yeah, no.
And it feels like almost indoctrination of some kind. It's really weird.
Yeah, like they watch these videos every day.
Yeah.
And they're so accessible.
That's true.
Right?
That's
like if you want to find something, if you want to become obsessed with something, you can find so much about it.
True. That's one of the downsides of accessibility of
I think so.
Media, I guess.
You can find all the wrong stuff and get completely brainwashed into it.
Yeah, and if you, let's say, go into some sort of a community or whatever, then it's just filled with more people who are also in that community.
Yeah.
So you go in and you think it's, I guess, more normal. And that's kind of a harsh way to put it. More okay.
Yeah.
Because other people are doing it. And
yeah,
they're
it's like standardized.
Yeah, they're validating your views and opinions. And then you validate them. They validate each other. And it's like just a whirlpool.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
of yeah, kind of like relying on each other, but also like in a negative way.
Yeah, like if other people are like this, I can totally be like this. It's fine.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with me. But
exactly.
I mean, I think obsessing to that level over other people to the point of like basing your life around it. Now I'm thinking of K-pop.
That's a perfectly valid point.
Yeah, right. Like people.
I was thinking a bit more like Dream or some shit.
Okay, yeah.
The Minecraft YouTuber.
Yeah, that's more recent. I don't really know much about that.
Me neither, dude. But even if you're not in like a fandom or something, you can sometimes still feel like the wave, the backlash of when something happens in there.
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
You're like, what the hell is all this about?
I am glad I am not involved.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was thinking of like K-pop. Like my little brother was a K-pop fan.
Oh, no way.
And he was like, I'm going to be a K-pop star. I'm moving to Korea and I'm becoming a K-pop star. It was ridiculous. And he would watch their videos all the time and he would dance like them and he would listen to their music constantly.
That's so cringe.
Yeah.
But you know what? We support our siblings.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think it's unhealthy to put these kinds of standards. And also because these people, like, they're not normal people. They're people promoted by the industry. They have, like managers and, like, people who, like, control what they do. And they have, and, like, they get, like, insane amounts of money and they do all this surgery and they do, like, they set completely unrealistic standards for kids.
I can see that.
Which is extremely unhealthy. Because not everyone can become a multimillionaire with like a giant mansion and do YouTube video vlogs about it every day and do crazy challenges. Or not everyone can become like this crazy famous K-pop star who looks perfect because they've done like so many surgeries to their face to make them look perfect and symmetrical and all that. Or like, it's ridiculous.
All right. Okay. Yeah, so like definitely an impact on the youth,
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has come with the internet.
Absolutely. Hey, Firas, we've now both finished our delicious snacks. Now that you finished your muffin. I mean, we finished it like 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, any last thoughts on that? Any food for thought?
It was a good muffin. I mean, not the best muffin in the world, but a muffin is a muffin. It's sweet, it's tasty, I like it.
Yeah, I think I was getting a bit more into it the more I ate it.
Yeah.
There's more blueberries, I think, at the bottom.
Okay.
It was getting nice. Yeah, overall good. We technically still have some snacks left. Some Doritos sweet chili pepper flavor. And these are probably our favorite. But they do make quite a bit of noise, just like the wind.
I've been trying to cover it up by putting my body in front of the microphone.
Yeah, with it. Great chips. I like the crunch. I like the sweetness. I like that tiny bit of hotness, I guess. All around, a great chip.
I think it's very good, but there's a slight cardboardy taste. Like the taste of the corn chip. You know?
Did you know that if a food tastes cardboardy, it's probably because it's full of fiber?
Oh.
Yeah, isn't that weird? And these are made mostly potatoes, right?
I'd be surprised if these are full of fibers. Let's see.
But what are they made of? Potatoes. And are potatoes full of fiber? I don't know.
It's got 5.7 grams of fiber per 100 grams. It's like 5% fibers. Which I guess is better than most.
Yeah, it's like 3%, like covered in the powders.
Yeah.
Talk about the powders a little bit. Talk about the barbecue powders. Huh?
The barbecue powders. Okay, so this is something that I've wanted for a while. At that store that I mentioned before, where me and Morgan frequently go to buy snacks. Once we were walking by a snack aisle, and I saw this out of the corner of my eye. It said, barbecue marshmallows. And my first thought was barbecue flavored marshmallows. And I was like, what? I was so surprised. I thought, it turns out it was just marshmallows that you're supposed to roast over the barbecue.
Yeah.
and I was pretty sorely disappointed.
Disappointed is it's okay that you thought they were barbecue marshmallows, but you're disappointed by it.
I am, because I really want to try barbecue flavored marshmallows now, and hence why I want to just buy like a packet of barbecue dust
that they put on like chips and stuff.
Yeah, and just like open that bag of marshmallows, pour a bunch of barbecue, and mix it up.
Terrible, but
I mean, because like
you're gonna defend.
Sometimes no, listen. Sometimes you have two different snacks, right? Like for example, the Doritos and the muffin, right? And sweet and salty, right?
Did you eat Doritos with your muffin though?
Not this time. But I have done similar stuff.
Describe similar. Describe similar.
I once had sour cream and onion chips and one of those maple pecan things.
Ooh.
I put a sour cream and onion chip on, and it's good. It doesn't seem like it would be good, but it's not bad, right? So barbecue flavored marshmallows must be good.
Why must? Why not could be?
I mean, it can't be terrible.
Yes, it can.
No,
it's marshmallow barbecue chips. Alright, end of discussion with this. We've hit about 36 minutes, which is solid, but I think we'll wrap it up soon.
That sounds good.
So I have a few topics I guess we could discuss, but let's talk about we're eating snacks. And you've been to a lot of different places. Talk to me about cooking and food in different places.
Oh, dude. So half my family's Arab because my mom is Syrian, right? Mm-hmm. And Arab food can either be delicious, or it can be like, what the hell is this? You know?
What's an example of not good?
I mean, they have like this dessert.
Yeah.
And it's like a wiry kind of compressed cheesecake. And you're supposed to eat it warm.
Weird.
And it's really weird. Or like, for example, sometimes my mom used to like order this food from restaurants, and it would be like sheep hearts and like sheep brains.
Oh, bro.
And nah, I'm sorry, but I'm.
Yeah, dude, I've had some weird food in my time. Mm-hmm. I had squid once, literally a whole squid. It was, I think, I don't know if it was just a small species of squid or if it was like a baby squid. Mm-hmm. If you do the make a circle with your pointing finger and your thumb, you know just that circle. It was about that big.
Okay.
Not if it's stretched out, it's tentacles, but if it's just like sort of cramped up, that's how big it was. It was incredibly chewy. Holy fuck!
I can imagine.
Dude, like it didn't taste like anything, and it was so chewy. I couldn't make a dent in it. I had to basically swallow it whole. Oh. And I was just sitting there chewing it for like a solid 3 minutes, and like all the sauce I put on it was just gone, and I couldn't spit it out because that's nasty, and it was it was my family. I'm not gonna. It sucked. Talk to me more about food in different places.
In Canada, people like to eat lobster a lot.
Really?
Yeah. And I've never tried it. I've never wanted to try lobster.
What?
Dude, you look at that thing, it's like whole, and it's looking at you with its claws, bro.
Okay,
I cannot.
I can imagine that, but if they just like serve you lobster, have you ever had crab? And it's just like crab chunks.
Yeah.
It's like that. If they serve you like that, it tastes very similar. It's pretty similar to crab.
Yeah.
Or shrimp or something like that. It's a shellfish.
The way you eat it in Canada, you just like, you buy the lobster alive.
Oh no.
And then you just dip its head into boiling water.
I don't get that. It seems like, do they not feel pain?
I don't know. It's pretty unethical.
I think it doesn't look ethical.
Dude, you're literally boiling that thing alive. I'm not eating that, dude. It's like whole, and it still has its eyes.
Oh yeah, I hate.
And it just like looks at you like, or when you
like shrimps or something, and they keep the eyes on you. Peel that bitch. Oh, I like fried shrimp. Like you peel it completely, just has like the little, half moon kind of shape.
Yeah.
Fried on pan. How about some with some rice, or maybe some pasta even? Who knows? Mm-hmm. I like that, but I can't stand like having to peel off and. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it just peel off the tail, that's fine. But like the head and shit.
Yeah. No.
I'm not a fan of that.
I really can't. Oh, and another thing they love in Canada is oysters.
Why so much seafood, do you think?
I mean,
I didn't.
No, but we live like I mean, I don't live close to any large bodies of water, or I didn't live close to any large bodies of water in Canada.
Mhm.
But I lived in Quebec, and Quebec has like this giant river flowing in it called the St. Lawrence River. And I think there's a lot of seafood that comes from there. And also there's the territories to the east side of Canada that are like islands and stuff.
I thought it'd be too cold for like most seafood. I'm surprised that they eat so much lobster.
Yeah, I don't know. But they really like seafood there. Like, I don't mind seafood in general. I think seafood's pretty good.
It can be okay.
But some, like, I tried oysters.
Mm.
Dude, they eat it raw, right?
Yeah, they're.
You, like, buy it as, like, a shell.
Mm.
Then you have to, like, work really hard to open that thing up. Right?
That's true.
They give you, like, you can buy special tools to open it up. And then you, like, put, like, some weird sauce on it or something, and then you just slurp it.
That shit, look.
That's nasty.
That does not look okay.
It's gross.
I couldn't. Think you should tell me a little bit about food in different places. There's a train. So to wrap it up, man, do you have let's talk a little bit lighter topic. You know, it's been pretty light. We're talking about food, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you have any maybe music to recommend? Any song?
Yeah, I mean, recently.
You have to.
No, recently I've like listening to like some more upbeat kind of, like synth poppy stuff, or not synth poppy, but like, you know, it's like some upbeat kind of go get it song kind of like.
Okay.
There's one song you recommended to me, and I've been listening to it a lot, and I like it. It's called "Jerk It Out."
Oh yeah, by Caesars.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think like that kind of music right now for me is pretty good. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
like
some music that's generally enjoyable by a lot of people.
Do you have a, I don't know, maybe a favorite show right now or something?
I've been watching a lot of anime recently, which I don't really do. I've actually gotten a lot into anime over the past year.
Why is that?
I think because of COVID, I've been very bored, and I know anime like is a great way to waste time. Because when I was younger, I used to watch a bit of anime,
Yeah.
and you can spend hours and hours and hours and just kill time.
You've watched the whole Dragon Ball Z twice. Some like 500 episodes.
No, so I watched Dragon Ball. I think that one had 160 episodes. I watched Dragon Ball Z, the whole thing. There's a abridged version, but I watched the original whole thing.
Okay.
293 episodes.
293 episodes.
And then I watched Dragon Ball Super, which is the one that came out in 2015, and that one has like 110 episodes or something. And dude, I don't know what I would have been doing otherwise. Like, maybe I could have done more productive, more useful stuff. But I'm glad I watched that.
Okay.
Like, it's just fun. Like, I don't see why not. Like, I mean, I'm passing school, right? So it's not like I need to double down and focus and study on this or that.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I have free time and I can just watch Dragon Ball and waste my life watching Dragon Ball, I don't care.
Okay.
It's fun.
Alright. Well, thank you for being on this episode, man.
Yeah.
It was
Looking forward to being on more.
Yeah. As a co-host, you'll probably be on more episodes, so the audience can look forward to hear more from my good friend Firas, huh?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, thank you, man.
No problem.
I think we'll wrap it there.
Yeah. All right.
Like and subscribe. Send this to all your friends. You know how it is with podcasts. And write down a comment about your favorite and least favorite part of the episode. Thank you and goodbye.